Believe it or not, you may actually be a better artist and making more progress in your drawing journey or your art journey than you think you are. Your current body of work may actually be deceiving you. Hey everyone, my name is Vincent, and this channel is all about my journey in learning how to draw, learning art, and I have been sharing everything from the beginning, the total progress. And today we are jumping into a sketchbook, but I want to use this as an opportunity to show how you can't really judge your skills just based on your current work. All right, you have to be doing a few things, and your current work may actually be making you more discouraged and making you think that you are a worse artist than you currently are. So what do we do? Here is what we do, and then we're going to jump into the sketchbook, and I'm going to actually demonstrate those things because there are some things in here that I don't really like. All right, so we'll be getting into that really shortly. So the first thing you need to be doing is saving your work, looking back at it, because art and the art progress is not a linear one. Okay, there are going to be times when going to be drawing things that you really like, and there are going to be times that you're going to be drawing things that you don't really like. You're going to be trying different methods and processes. And here's the deal: just because some popular YouTuber or art teacher, even though they're very good and they teach you a method, that method may not always work exactly for you. So as you try different things, you're going to experience varying results. Okay, and what you're going to see when we dive into this art book is that I'm trying a bunch of different methods and trying a bunch of different styles and drawing things. And some of them work, some of them not so good, but we're going to dive into it and we're going to see all of the different things that I'm trying. You can tell me what you feel is working, what isn't. Some of the things I personally like more than others, but we're going to be diving into all of that in this sketchbook tour and talking it through. But there is another thing that is very important that I actually did not learn until I had completed this sketchbook, how important this is. I've heard it before from others, but I never believed it right up until now, but I'm going to save that to the end. So stick around, and after we go through all of the things showing you the different variations of things that I've tried in this sketchbook, we will look at this other monkey wrench that can be deceiving you in terms of what is actually better for you and how good you're actually doing. And this one is really important because yeah, it really made my work look very unappealing to me personally. And so I actually ended up changing up a few things, but we'll get to that in a bit. So this is the beginning of the sketchbook. Now, I want you to note that this has 11/19/23. Okay, so this is from November, is when I started this. Now, if you've been following this channel, you know that I post really regularly, and lately, for the past couple of weeks, I haven't gotten to post. There have been a few real life things that have come up, a lot of extra time at work on different projects that have been going on, really important to the organization that I work with, and life, a lot of life things going on, vacation, it's summertime, and I just haven't been able to get a lot of videos out. But we are back now. Things are slowing down, turning around, and we're ready to rock and roll again. So there's going to be quite a bit of catch up for a while, and then we'll eventually get back to current. All right, but let's jump into this. So initially for this sketchbook, I had an idea of some things I wanted to cover on my goal to be able to draw kind of this freestyle and in perspective, as some of the popular artists do, like Kim Jong Gi, the late Kim Jong Gi, etc. So I started off with a lot of perspective work, turning objects in space, and some skulls. This is from Tom Fox draws some of his anatomy work as well. And what you see is, again, a lot of perspective work in the beginning. and trying to do some of these fixtures that don't have really good construction. I'm drawing smaller figures here, as you may notice, and then trying some bigger, some blockier heads, trying to see if that would really work. So really trying a lot of different things here. This was also straight to ink on this side, so trying a lot of different things, a lot of different methods. Decided to do a whole lot of simplified construction drawings. I saw some videos from Kim Jong-ji and tried to copy some of the things that he was talking about and implement them in a real sketchy way, okay? Like, okay, so using this construction method here of these boxes, I didn't really like it. All right, I didn't like how it was turning out. And since then, I have moved on to different construction methods for some of the blockier figures. Some of that will actually show up later on in here, but this is something that I was talking about because like you have some people who are able to do this type of really boxy figures really well and make it look really good. It may or may not be for others. Now, there are some cool exploratory things that I like about using this simplified method where you're not really concerned about how things are looking, but it may not be for everyone. And so I kind of ditched off, veered off from that a little bit as you see things starting to change here, going to more kind of directional. Um, Tried out these figures a bit, some of these bigger blocky figures, and kind of liked the cartoony feel and the free kind of flowing feel, but still working a lot on perspective as well as construction. Tried to work with some detail because from what I was saying, detail was really important. Oh my gosh, what is going on with these faces down here? Um, but again, just remember, progress is not linear, okay? So you're going to see some things as we go along that are that I really like. I don't know, you're probably gonna have to let me know whether you're seeing the same thing that I'm seeing because sometimes as artists we're looking at our own work and we're not being objective enough in it. But what I see is that throughout this sketchbook, there are some things that I like, some things that I don't like, some things that I like, some things that I do like. It goes back and forth. There's not this straight uphill progression to better, better, better. So that's something to keep in mind. And this is why it's important to look back to find out the things that actually were working for you and then bringing those back into your work once again and trying to improve on it. And so that's what we're doing here. So here I went back to construction again, and this time this style actually worked a little bit better for me. I think the majority of figures on this page were actually from imagination. These ones were actually from reference, and when I started out going back to construction using this method, I was like, hey, actually, that seems pretty intuitive for me rather than the straight boxy figures. And I tried it out here and I really liked how I was able to implement a figure from imagination that turned out to actually look pretty good. All right. So again, this is something that you need to be thinking about. Just because you see a prominent person implement these figures using boxy figures doesn't mean that you have to construct yours also using boxy figures. Okay, you can have variations on them. You can switch it up. You can try other methods. Try other things that you see other content creators putting out on YouTube and see how it works for you. It may work, it may not work. They may be able to produce things with it that actually look really beautiful to you, but you may not be able to do it. So that's something to keep in mind. And it's not a reflection on your ability as an artist. It's just a reflection of the way your brain works and how it's able to interpret and incorporate those methods into you moving your hand and putting something down on paper. So here you see that method being utilized again, also working with perspective. This comes up again in a fuller drawing that I did on the stream, on a separate video, working on some animal studies as well. Here, I really liked how some of these turned out and continued a lot of iteration. Iteration is key. I've said in other videos, Say it again, iteration is key. And here is one, there was a whole video where this one was drawn, a little bit of ink wash on it as well to throw in the shadows. And so after a little bit of success in doing this type of construction, I like, okay, so let's see if we can really hone in and maximize on this whole construction thing. So I started doing quite a bit of kind of construction, doing different angles, different poses, all this different type of stuff, and with varying success. And I try to also make it a little bit more complicated, throwing in some pelvis stuff. This didn't work out quite as well as I wanted it to. Um, but again, you go back and forth. You try different things, and one of the things that I found is that as you go along, you don't always realize that you've made an improvement until you come back and find out that it's easier the next time around. Like some of these faces, not all of them turned out well, but some of them turned out pretty well. Like I really like this one here. And this is straight to ink. And before it would have been really hard to do something like that. And so I think now I'm heading into a stage where I was doing more straight to ink work. This is some brush pen that I played around with. I saw Kim Jung-ji do something talking about how to set up everybody in an environment and actually make it look like they all belong in the same space. This person was supposed to be in the same one. Nope, that did not work out. So a lot of different exploration here. And after I drew this one from Kim Jong-ji, this was actually an image of his. I really like how it turned out with some of the dark shadows in there as well. And that gave me an idea, which you will see really amplified later on in the book, to be doing this straight to ink work, thinking about the construction, but not actually drawing it. And again, this was something where I realized, hey, I had actually gotten better at drawing direct and didn't even realize it until I actually tried it again. So you may be putting in work and not feeling there's progress, but you're making slight progress. Don't worry about it. Just keep doing what you need to do. So again, more construction, trying to figure out, okay, if I put the box structure underneath and then try to come over with the pen and really do the freeform drawing, but keeping in mind that construction and seeing how it all fits together. So trying to put all the pieces together. Here you see a lot of different variations, trying to do the same thing, trying to put them into one environment as well. And here's the thing I do as a thing that I do as well. Every once in a while, I try to practice up on some of the weaknesses I have. Faces are still a weakness that I have, and every once in a while I throw in a few more as well. Hands, feet. It's a work in progress. Doing some things from imagination here, just trying to see how they turn out. Some of these are more correct than others and worked out better than others. But again, you try a variety of things. Some things work, some things don't. And you actually have to give yourself that freedom to explore, that freedom to mess up even, and then go back. Because like some of the things I was looking back in here and I didn't even realize that I had done them and that I had liked how they turned out. So I went back, saw it, and now I'm implementing it in my current sketchbook. So that's something to be aware of. Some perspective work with tables going up versus tables going down. You have your horizon line. A few drills. And again, I'm still going to talk about this one monkey wrench that kind of I didn't realize until I had reached the end of this book. These are some figures that I just drew on an airplane that we're traveling for vacation, and of course people with suitcases if you're on vacation. And here now I really take this in a different direction and I start doing things with a lot of detail, trying to get work on clothes. I think after doing this one, I went, okay, I really need more work on clothing, and started doing the free flowing drawing without, I mean, just drawing straight without much construction first, trying to get the clothing in, and I really liked how some of these turned out. And I realized that this is some of the method that Kim Jong-ji uses for doing his wrinkles, doing his um, construction and images actually. And it, when you put in all the details, it really turns out pretty good. Um, I really like how some of the things turned out. And so you have a few iterations here of me drawing. Some of them have some construction lines under it, throwing in some shadows and some smudging to get the values more consistent. But really like how some of this turned out, and you're gonna see some of this repeated later on, of course. So we see again, just trying a lot of different things. So here's something. It goes from things that are really working to you trying more, going back to the blocky construction. So again, you're going back and forth, and you're really trying to find what works for you, what doesn't work. But again, you really need this reference of what has worked in the past to anchor you so that when you are ready to move forward, you're ready to move forward. So don't get discouraged when you try things and they don't work out, okay? It happens to everyone. So the grind begins, simple construction, ink details, 5-page reference, and 1-page imaginative work. So this was something I thought that I would keep up on. I did pretty good on it, but yeah. Some of these references are from things that Kim Jong-ji drew. Some of them have kind of quick construction outlines underneath, and then coming over straight to pen and working out with varying degree of success. This one's from Kim as well as some of these ones. I really like how that face turned out. Some of these more looser works in here as well. And again, back to trying some of this construction thing, because I really think construction is going to be the key for me in terms of not always having to put down the construction to draw, but it really helps when you're thinking about the construction and how things are shifted in space when you're doing free flowing drawing. And so something like this, you may not be able to make it out too well, but there are some basic construction lines here that I drew over with the pen to really help solidify how those ink drawings should go. And I think at this point, I really dove into the straight to ink work, doing a lot of work here. I love this frog at the bottom. This is from Kim Jong-ji that I drew, and a lot of other reference work as well. And so this is something I really got into, and this is going to be related to the monkey wrench in the end, that may be keeping you from thinking that you're probably not that good when actually you are better. So keep in mind these particular drawings here, because yeah, it comes back around as well. So I think for the majority of the book, you are going to see some of the straight to ink work, trying a variety of things, but realizing, hey, I can actually get this to work really well. Some of them are referenced, some of them are not, some of them are from imagination. Maybe it would be good to call out in my notes what is from reference and what is from imagination. I think these guys here were from a Kim Jong-ji sketch that I pulled off. Came back and did some quick figure work. So I think these were really quick sketches, but really just trying to see how good I was now at going through and just plotting out the gesture and getting it believable on the page in as quick as time as possible with the construction, because construction really helps that process a lot. So you're going to see a lot of straight to ink work, I think probably for the majority of this book here. I really love this stuff, and and it led up to kind of a disappointment. But we were going to talk about that in a bit. But really loved how some of this turned out. This was brush pen that I tried out a bit. Brush pens seem to be really good for a lot of here type things when you want a lot of random texture. Really like this guy. I drew that from Kim as well. Um, Love that coat as well. So some things here are referenced, some things are from imagination, trying different face things. So this is interesting. Some of these faces weren't working out as well, and I probably need to go back and reference some of the faces that I did before. But yeah, some of them are turning out really well. So one day I was kind of getting burnt out on something. I don't know if it was something in real life or not. I don't remember exactly what it was, but I do remember I was kind of frustrated with something and I just wanted to not really do anything serious, just doodle. And so I went to these kind of weird, almost blob blocks in a sense. And there's something about this I actually really enjoyed. Um, just doing a lot of random craziness like this person flipping over and then losing control and stuff. And it was actually really refreshing. So again, try different things. You probably never know exactly what you're gonna like versus what you don't like. And so coming back to some of these constructed figures as well. And again, this type of construction really felt natural to me. Trying some portrait stuff as well, and really like how some of those turned out. Again, this is construction method straight to pen, kind of amping up that method that I had been using before. And I think this is the last page where I ended off with a lot of imaginative work as well. So here's what I found. After doing all of, as you can see, you can probably tell that I liked this loose sketching work that I had been doing, like straight to ink. And so I was like, okay, I'm on to it. I'm on to it right now. And then the monkey wrench as soon as I finished this sketchbook. So this sketchbook is a moleskin sketchbook. It's the one with the very thick paper. And after completing this one, I decided, well, there's this other sketchbook on Amazon that has pretty thick paper as well, and I would like to use it. It was a lot cheaper, and I said, hey, I'll give it a shot. And I tried doing some of this same straight to ink work, and I'm going to tell you right now, okay? And I'll probably show a comparison when I start diving into that sketchbook. Um, Paper matters a lot, okay? I mean, that paper, if you notice on this paper, I'm drawing straight black ink here, and there is no show on this side, all right? So the paper, these lines are very crisp. It's not really absorbing the ink, but it's also drying the ink, letting the ink dry very quickly. This paper is amazing. All paper is not created equal, and when I went to the new sketchbook to do some of the similar straight to ink work, everything just fell apart. The lines looked horrible. The images did not work out because the lines were not doing what they were supposed to do. I mean, you probably heard this before as well, that paper makes a huge difference. And I'm here to confirm that for you, okay? Paper makes a huge difference. It isn't everything, okay? I switched over to a different method in that sketchbook that worked well for that sketchbook, but this style did not work in that sketchbook, at least not for me. Maybe as I get better at this, it will, and I will find a way to make it work, but it did not work for me, okay? So that's something to keep in mind. you try different methods and you try different construction methods, different drawing methods, different styles, but you should also be trying different papers. Okay, so if you've had trouble with your work constantly not looking as good as you may want it to look, give paper a try. And I'll probably do a whole episode on that now because I have gone through quite a few different sketchbooks, and I have since since that whole sketchbook paper incident, I have gone ahead and purchased a new moleskin sketchbook because I mean it makes a huge difference to me, and I just know I need moleskin sketchbooks in my life. Okay, so something to think about as you go along in your journey as well. Experiment with different papers. Try an expensive one. Try a cheap one. Moleskins aren't the cheapest sketchbooks. They may be actually one of the more expensive ones. So that's something to think about, but give it a try and see just how much difference it may make for your drawings because it could be that it is really your paper that is holding you back and discouraging you. And I wouldn't want that to be what discourages you. So let me know. We've covered this whole sketchbook. What are the things that you liked in here? What are the things you didn't like? And let me know if you saw that kind of um, on linear progress, this kind of up and down where, hey, that looked really good. Okay, but this isn't working. Versus, hey, now that this seems to be working really nice. Because that I feel is the real progress, and I don't want people to get discouraged when they are doing their work and it doesn't seem like they're making the progress that they should. You may actually be a better artist than you think you are. Give it a try different things, take a look back, see what worked, and implement that in a fresh way. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.